Welcome to risk and percent change in risk. So the idea here is essentially we want to find the probability or chance of a negative event happening. Oops. So risk we're looking at the chance of a negative event happening. And we will be looking at comparing the risk in different situations or given different conditions. So we want to compare the risk given different conditions. So let's take, for example, a study was run on the relationship between aspirin intake and heart attack risk in adult males over age 55. And the data is recorded below. So in this study, there was one group that took aspirin daily and one group that was given a placebo pill, meaning a pill that doesn't have any medication in it. And then it was recorded whether or not that person had a heart attack at some point later in their life. So there were 100,000 people in total in this study. Of those who took aspirin, 523 had a heart attack and 54,477 did not. Of those who took the placebo, 876 had a heart attack and 44,124 did not. So first, we're just going to take a look at the risk. So we want to know, what is the risk of heart attack for the group that took aspirin daily? So here we are specifying that we are only considering the group that took aspirin daily. So we will look just at our aspirin row. And we want to know the risk of heart attack. So we want to know the chance of heart attack. The probability of heart attack. So that will be our numerator. So if we look at that row, we had 523 have a heart attack. So our risk would be 523 out of our 55,000. And if we do that math, we get 0.0095. Converting this to percent, we wind up with about 0.95%, or almost 1%. Now let's do the same thing for the group that took the placebo. So for the group that took the placebo, we are now looking only at the placebo row. Once again, we are looking at the risk or the chance of heart attack. So we had 876 have a heart attack in this group. So for our risk, we are looking at 876 out of the 45,000. If we do this computation, we have 0.00 0.195 approximately. Convert that to percent, multiply by 100%. We are looking at 1.95%, or approximately 2%. So we can see while both of these are low, when it comes to heart attack, the 2% chance of dying from, or of having a heart attack versus a 1% chance of having a heart attack is a fairly big difference. So one way that we can then compare risks is by finding the percent change in risk. So we want to know by how much does taking aspirin improve our chances, or improve the chances for adult males over age 55 of not having a heart attack. So or by how much does it lower their risk? So in general, to find percent change, in risk, what we will do is we will do the treatment risk then we will subtract from that the original risk without the treatment. And then we will divide by the original risk. So the treatment risk minus the original risk will find the change. Dividing by the original risk will give that change as a fraction of the original risk. And then to convert to percent, we will multiply by 100%. So in this case, our treatment is aspirin. The original will be referring to with the placebo. Without treatment. We just found those two risks. We'll go ahead and do the risk for treatment is, you can either use the percent form or the decimal form. Either way will work as long as you're consistent. So let's do 1.95%. And then the risk for, oops, sorry, that's the wrong one. The aspirin risk was 0.95%. The placebo risk was 1.95%. So to do our calculations here, our percent change we will take our treatment risk, so 0.95%, subtract off the original risk, 1.95%, then divide by the original risk, 1.95%, and then we will end by multiplying by 100%. (0.95 minus 1.95 winds up giving us a negative 1%. Divide by 1.95%. And we wind up getting about negative 0.51. And then I forgot we should convert. Multiply by 100%. And we get negative 51% approximately. So what this means, the negative tells us that the risk rate has gone down. So this tells us that aspirin or treatment lowered the risk. And then it lowered it by 51%. So essentially, it cut the risk in half. So it doesn't mean that we'd had a risk of 60% and it's dropped by all the way down to, what would that be, 9%? No, it's as a fraction of, or as a percent of the original risk. So in this case, taking aspirin daily essentially cut the risk in half, or lopped off half of the risk. So this is percent change in risk. This is one of the main ways that we go about uh, sort of considering if a treatment is worth it or not. There's much more to go beyond. In a study, you're only considering that specific sample. There might be many more people that actually wind up taking aspirin daily or don't take aspirin daily, that then have heart attacks or don't have heart attacks. So because this is a sample, it's not necessarily going to precisely match the population data. So we will have more statistics to learn as we go through how we could generalize these results to the population. But this is a basic idea. All right, that is it.